Hello, everybody. Today we're going to do the best case scenario for the Democrats in the upcoming governor's elections. We'll take a look at the Republicans in a different video, but like with any best case scenario, this is just within reason. And for me, that comes out to about a 5-point bump. So we've got 11 states having elections for governor, a lot of open seats, and the safe margins for me are over 10 points, likely 5 to 10 points, lean under 5 points, and tilt 1 point or less. So let's start off in the West Coast. Let's do Washington. Well, Washington has the longest streak of Democrats controlling the governor's mansion. It is an open seat. Jay Inslee is retiring, but in the best case scenario for the Dems, it's not going to be close. Bob Ferguson is going to win by over 10 points. Let's look at Montana. This has Republican incumbent Greg Gianforte running for re-election. There's technically a primary for both sides to get through, but I'm going to assume it's going to be Gianforte, and either way, he's going to be favored. Now, Democrats have had success here for governor. They've won 4 in a row up until Gianforte won in 2020. Maybe something changes later on in the summer, but for now, I think the best case scenario is this gets down to a likely for Gianforte. If we go south into Utah, we've got another incumbent Republican, Spencer Cox. He does have to get through a primary. I don't doubt that he's going to be the nominee. In the general election, I think he's even more safe. It doesn't look like Democrats have a rock star type of candidate. So even in a blue wave, I think the best case scenario here is still safe for the Republican. Back up to North Dakota. This is an open seat, and it's a super red state. Republicans have a primary to get through. Democrats have no bench, but they already have a presumptive nominee. But I think even on a great night for the Democrats, right now, this is still going to stay safe. Red. Now we go to the show me state, Missouri. Here's an open seat in another red state. Republicans battling it out in a primary here. My guess is it's going to be Jay Ashcroft. Democrats also have a primary, but right now it looks like it's going to be Crystal Quade. This is not the absolute reddest state. Given it's an open seat, it could be a bruising primary. Maybe Democrats run a strong campaign and Ashcroft flops. In a blue wave, I still think it's going to stay red, but it's not going to be safe. It could get close to leans, but I think that would still be a little bit too unreasonable. So it is going to go likely Republican. Now we hop over Illinois and go into Indiana, where there's a similar situation. The Republican governor is term limited. It looks like it's going to be U.S. Senator Mike Braun who's running for this seat. Yes, he does have to get through a primary, but he does look favored. We're going to know soon enough if it's going to be Braun because their primaries are on May 7th. Now, as for the Democrats, they're doing something similar that happened in Oklahoma back in the midterms. The presumptive nominee is Jennifer McCormick. She used to be the Indiana Superintendent of Public Instruction, and she also used to be a Republican. So she's no longer in office. She switched and became a Democrat. Joy Hoffmeister in Oklahoma held the exact same office in her state. She used to be a Republican. She became a Democrat. She challenged Kevin Stitt for governor, and she got completely wiped out. Now, that's a different state in a different election, so anything could happen, but this is also a red state. And I think it's up for debate whether having a former Republican is the best the Democrats can do or whether that's a terrible idea. Either way, in the best case scenario, I have it at likely Republican. Now let's look at West Virginia. Here's a state that has a crowded Republican primary field for governor. Maybe it's Patrick Morrisey, maybe it ends up not being him. Either way, this has become such a red state. The Democrat here really has to have some kind of local appeal, and he also has to get really lucky. So in this, I still think it's going to stay over 10 and safe Republican. Let's look at North Carolina. This, I think, is the marquee governor's race for 2024. We just saw some recent polls. It shows Josh Stein, the Democratic nominee, leading Mark Robinson, the Republican. It's way too early to tell exactly what's going to happen, but like it or not, I think Josh Stein is considered much less controversial and polarizing than Mark Robinson. It doesn't mean Robinson can't win. He does ignite voters. But I think in this instance, to balance out the Republican supermajority in the legislature, voters there would be more willing to support Josh Stein, who's a little bit more bland and less exciting. So I already had Stein winning by about 1 point at my actual prediction. This, he's going to get a bump, and it's going to get up to about 5.5 points. So that means it is going to go likely for the Democrats. Now we go up to Delaware. Here's another open seat, John Carney. He's out of there. It's already a fairly blue state, so obviously in a blue wave, Democrats are going to hold this with a safe margin. Now let's go to New Hampshire. Here is yet another open seat. Democrats want to flip this and pick it up. Republicans looking to hold. There are primaries to get through. Looks like the Republicans are probably going to settle on Kelly Ayotte, former U.S. Senator. Democrats battling it out between Joyce Craig and Cindy Wormington. This is a state where both parties are going to be competitive for governor. It's possible they win it on a regular night, but certainly on a good night for the Democrats. They're going to win this not quite by a likely margin, but I have it as mid-single digits lean Democrat. The last state is Vermont, and this is the state that has the most range because we just don't know if Phil Scott is going to run for re-election or not. He might announce what he's going to do right after I finish making or just post this video. So I don't know what he's going to do, but if it is Phil Scott, then the best best case scenario is this stays safe Republican. If it's not Phil Scott, then the best case scenario for the Democrats is easily going to be safe Democrat. So it all comes down to Phil Scott. You can pretty much put this one at any rating you'd like. So for this, I'll say he retires and Democrats pick it up. So that's the final map. That comes out to 6 Republicans, 5 Democrats. In this best reasonable case scenario, Democrats would have a pickup in New Hampshire as well as in Vermont. Other than that, it doesn't look like they're really capable of getting close in the other states. But this is just for April. It's always possible in 3 or 4 months, the dynamics of any of these races completely change and we have a different map. So that's why we'll take a look at this from time to time. But for right now, I think this is the optimal map for the Democrats. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with this map or do you disagree on 2, 3, 4, 5 of these states? Let me know down below on your way out. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to help support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.